Thank you very much for having me. I think that yes, it's a diplomatic, I think a goodwill gesture from Pakistan, and I think that it has increased Pakistan diplomatic efforts globally. But on the other hand, we also see that this is something like the U.S. surrender that the U.S. has made in this wrong war that they used toward the Iran, and then I think that because the U.S. really want Donald Trump are looking for a victorious face saving. And I think that this was before giving the very severe threats to Iran and sending the message that he will push back Iran to end the civilization. I think these were the threats, and but he was really looking for a victorious face saving. So I think that yes, this is a as far as the Pakistan efforts are concerned, I think that of course it has increased Pakistan diplomatic efforts in the global arena.
Mr. Sumbal, we see that President Trump described the ceasefire as double-sided, and he also said that the main objective, military objectives in Iran, has been achieved by U.S. What are the expectations from the negotiating talks, which are to be hosted by Pakistan on the upcoming Friday? You know, how do you interpret the upcoming talks?
I think that this is a very crucial moment also for Pakistan because if we see the timeline and all this scenario, so we see that there is not the first time that the US has attacked on Iran. There was previously also there was some massive bombing that the Donald Trump did it, and then subsequently again we saw that after a few months, Donald Trump continuously changing his stance on Iran. So right now, I think that the major thing that is that the guarantees, because who will be the guarantor? Because Iranians definitely need to end such kind of this proxy and the attacks on the Iran completely. So in that case, I think that there is a very strong responsibility on Pakistan that how Pakistan will initiate and become a guarantor. Will Pakistan will be a guarantor, or there will be some regional powers who will come forward and they will be guarantor? Because the attitude of Donald Trump and the overall, if we see that the U.S. policy towards Iran, that is not something like trustworthy, and U.S. is more U.S. no longer be a trustworthy, especially in terms of its actions. So I think that in these talks, if there will be some negotiations going on, so I think that the stakeholders will have a very strong responsibility that they will make some binding agreement that will have some international law, and there should be some law, some sort of the international recognition that the U.S. and the Israel will hold such kind of the attacks in the future, and they will restrain and forbid to violate the Iran's sovereignty.
Absolutely. Mr. Sumbal, we see that Iran has sent a 10-point proposal stating that yes, the 10-point proposal has been sent to US, and now on the negotiating table, I'm hopeful that the 10 points shall be discussed. The 15-point proposal by US shall be discussed. But coming back to the nuclear program which Iran possess, are we expecting some talks on that as well? Because that is the major conflict between US and Iran right now.
Of course, there is I mean that the nuclear conflict, but the Donald Trump intentions was not towards this, like the Iran uranium or Iran nuclear capabilities are something like this, that the atomic bombing of Iran. So ultimately, the U.S. targets was towards the Iran crude oil, actually, that they want, because Donald Trump, similarly, he was telling to the world about the Venezuela, and then immediately he went to grab the resources of Venezuela. So here also the mean that the target is the Iran oil, because the U.S. is really looking for the rare earth minerals and such kind of the resources in the world uh, to try to make some sort of the international mean to hold on the international energy and the international oil markets and other resources. So I think that the nuclear talks is just like an excuse to push Iran for such kind of the to bring Iran on such kind of the negotiation table. But ultimately, the goal of the United States is the Iranian oil, Iranian largest oil reservoir in the world. So I think that that is one of the point that I think that they could have the negotiation and how Iran will play, because I think that US.
Yes, Mr. Sumbal, since you have mentioned the oil of Iran, we shall come to that as well. But Strait of Hormuz is under discussion from a very long period of time now, and Iran has come forward saying that the status of Strait of Hormuz, the control of Strait of Hormuz, shall not be the same as it used to be. How do you see U.S. negotiating on Strait of Hormuz and the control and the limitations regarding that?
I think that is a very strong point, and I think that the Iranians have a quite clear stance on this. Not only Iranians, but we see that yesterday there was the United Nations Security Council resolution that was vetoed by China and Russia, that the Strait of Hormuz should be protected, and there should be some sort of the protection to the vessels. So I think that that is a very clear point, because the U.S. has thrown the stone in this. I mean that this Strait of Hormuz. So it is really very. I mean that very much, but not possible that the Strait of Hormuz can go back to its pre-Iran US war state, because definitely Iranians know that what is the power of the Strait of Hormuz. So definitely now it's time not only for the Iran but also the geostrategical and the Iranians partners who are the Iran's allies. I think they realize that of course that is something like the a very sensitive mean that the point that they have against the United States, and also not only United States but also the Europeans and the other. So I think that the state of the Hormuz importance has been increased, and I think that the negotiation and the new terms and conditions would likely to be set as defined by Tehran, not by Washington.